Can't be the guys that's gonna be timid and not knowing what's going on. You play hard, you play together. I mean, that's all we ask.
This is what we all have to do.
Be locked in, focus, just be disciplined, all right?
Now I feel like Kyrie, I'ma have to take the shot. If they tryna call me dog, I gotta hit the block. Started from the bottom, but we made it to the top. And I told them time is money, that's why I don't ever stop. I got my black hoodie with a rollie on, eating pasta like Corleone. I don't got time for no fake boy. If you got the money, gon' show me some. I got 2 whips and I'm self-paid. Never got help, bro, I'm self-made. Started from the bottom, but we made it to the top. And I told them time is money, that's why I don't ever stop. Hey, what up, Sig? Whole month in the studio, said I'm locked in. My stock going way up, I got options. Yeah, they fine, but stop playing, you not him. Wait, the numbers going up.
You got 8 seconds to prove you're worth the price of admission. And you got Baylor Scott and White Health along for the ride. So square up. You got this.
RJ's Bargain Center is your home team for appliances at unbeatable prices. From refrigerators to washers, dryers to stoves, you'll find brand new appliances with huge discounts. And just like your favorite local teams, RJ's is proud to support our community and local sports. Score your savings today at RJ's Bargain Center, 711 Lynn Street, Waco. Call 254-224-6178. RJ's Bargain Center, where big savings are always a home run.
I've looked back at MCC.
Hello, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Primetime. I am your host, Jalen Gillis, here on this Friday Eve, Thursday afternoon here, folks. We want to thank everybody for tuning in with us here today on Centex Primetime and what will be a slightly shortened episode here today. But we got to give you some previews on the games this weekend, big games this weekend, a lot of games being moved to tonight. I guess we're going to get some pretty bad weather in the next couple of days, so they're moving some games that were planned and scheduled to happen on Friday here locally in high school football. They are moving that to tonight. That includes games like La Vega versus Robinson. That includes games like Hillsborough versus Fort Worth Benbrook, Whitney and Mejia, Troy and Academy. Multitude of games that have been rescheduled to tonight. Dawson and Valley Mills are rescheduled to tonight. Rosebud Lot and Bruceville Eddy will be tonight. Crawford and Moody, Marlin and Riesel, etc. A lot of games getting moved, so we'll give you guys some updates on what's going on there. Obviously, all this news is very fluid, and we're figuring out as we go about what time games will be. Tomorrow, we were planning for Friday Night Flex to be at WISD Stadium. We will still be at WISD Stadium tomorrow for Friday Night Flex for Waco High versus University. Only difference is the time has been moved up to try to avoid as much weather as they can. They have moved the time up to 6 o'clock instead of a 7:30 kickoff. They will kick it off at 6 o'clock. So you'll see pregame right here on Centex Sports Network at 5 o'clock. Myself, Wayne Walker, Rocky Miller will all be there to give you guys some analysis on all the games going on around Central Texas, the ones that are happening tonight, the ones that are happening tomorrow. And we will give you guys full game coverage of the Waco High versus University game, which is always a special occasion when those two teams get a chance to play against each other. So stay on the lookout for updates, folks. Be checking, the Waco Trib, Twitter, all of these different places to find any information you can about your local games and your teams and when some of these games will be moved around too. We got a lot to talk about in the short amount of time I'll be on here today, folks. The NBA season is in full effect, as you guys got to see some of those games last night. And on Tuesday, y'all watched my Rockets lose in a double overtime game. I wasn't upset about it, man. Hey, you get double OT, first game of the year. Can never be too mad about that. But definitely we will be talking about some NBA. We'll touch the high school level as we just talked about. I'll give you a preview on some of the college games coming up this weekend, some of my analysis. I'm not saying you could take it to the bank, but I've had a decent past couple of weekends, so make sure you guys tune in for that. And NFL, we got games tonight. Minnesota Vikings will play the Los Angeles Chargers tonight. Some NBA games tonight. Rematch of the finals. Pacers and Thunder tonight. We'll talk about all of those games here today on Centex Primetime before we get out of here today. So once again, thanks everybody for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, like and share the stream. If you haven't gone to our website just yet, go on to CentexSportsNetwork.com. Check us out. Free subscription. Just need your name and your email to get signed up and have everything ready and going. Well, folks, we're going to dive right into it here as we get a chance to talk some NBA basketball. If you guys are like me, you got a chance to stay up and watch some of that game last night. San Antonio Spurs and the Dallas Mavericks match up with each other last night on ESPN as ESPN had their debut there with their new NBA tip-off team. NBA TV, tip-off is what they're calling it. The partnership with the old TNT sports crew, Shaq, Ernie, Kenny, and Chuck. They come over to ESPN, despite Chuck saying how much he hates ESPN. But it was a good show when they first started, man, so shout out to all those guys. But we did get some really great games last night. I'll start with the first one, or with the last game that we got a chance to watch last night, and that was the Dallas Mavericks. That was the Dallas Mavericks taking on the San Antonio Spurs. Now, Dallas is coming in this year after a lot of turmoil last year. Kyrie Irving tears his ACL. They make a trade for the biggest star they've had in Dallas Mavericks history, maybe. It's between him and Dirk, both two European superstars. They make a trade for him. They trade for Anthony Davis. They revamped his team, looking to do some new things with the team. But we've got questions. How is this going to work? NBA rewards them after the trade and gets them one of the best players in the draft, the best player in the draft probably, and that is Cooper Flagg, who made his NBA debut last night. But that was all outshined. All of it was outshined by the outstanding performance that we saw last night from Victor Wembanyama. Now, we all knew Wemby was going to be a problem. We've been watching the last couple of years. We've seen what Wemby's been able to do. But to see the progression of him over the years, and then all that come to being last night, putting on the show that he put on, getting 40 and 20 almost against a really good Dallas Mavericks team that prides himself on having great interior defense. Talking about Anthony Davis, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford. They started a huge lineup. They started Cooper Flagg at the point, trying to be like my Rockets. Didn't work out so great. But Wemby completely dominated those guys. When you watch it doesn't look real. I know by now it's the afternoon. So by now, if you're a real hoops fan, y'all have all watched Wemby's highlights from last night. It looks like AI. If you've never watched basketball before and I turn that tape on, you would think you were watching AI. It doesn't look real. This dude, I think, has gotten taller. I think he's 7'5" now, just based off of him standing next to other guys that are 7 feet plus, and he's towering over those dudes. This dude is 7'5" now, probably. His handle has gotten better. But the number one thing I noticed, and that everybody knows as soon as the game started, was the aggression that this dude had. And that comes from the offseason training. Now, we've all been seeing the memes of Wemby training in the offseason, from him training with actual monks in China, training with real deal monks. Dude shaved his head and everything. Now, I don't know if there's a height limit or height requirement on being a monk, but I'm sure he exceeded that. The dude is 7'5". He trained with the monks. We've seen him running the track and working out with dudes like Kevin Garnett, and that's what I saw last night. I saw he's been had the moves. He's been had footwork. I saw it looks like those talks with Kevin Garnett have started to sit in. He comes out first play and tries to snatch the rim off of the hoop. First play. That's setting the tone. The whole time I watched the game, all I could think was this dude is sending a message and setting the tone. Wemby had 40 points, 15 boards last night to go along with 3 blocks as well. We have already said he's the best defensive player in the league. I don't think that's honestly close. I think the next 3 or 4 defensive player of the year trophies are his. But if this dude plays like he did last night, it's not just going to be the defensive player of the trophy award, defensive player of the year awards. It's going to be an MVP award. If he plays like he did last night, they're going to win 50 games this year. If they win 50-something games this year, get third or second place, Wemby's going to win the MVP because he's going to put numbers up like this week in and week out in the NBA. It's a long season, so we know health is a huge part of that. But if he can stay healthy, man, saying the sky is the limit is an understatement for this guy. He is clearly, if he plays like he does last night, he will clearly be the most dominant player in the league. He only played 30 minutes, 15 to 21, 9 from 11 at the free throw line, 15 boards, 3 blocks to go along with 40 points, plus 31 plus or minus rating. The Spurs have a deep bench because they've drafted well over the last few years, and they haven't really let any of their guys go. They've kept those guys right in there and haven't really made much trades. Yeah, they made the trades for De'Aaron Fox, who also didn't play last night, who's going to end up being their lead guard. But they still have the guy that won Rookie of the Year last year, and Stephon Castle. He had 22 points. They still got Devin Vassell, who's made it to a second contract and can play some ball, and a good two-way player. He chipped in with 13 points. They still had a top 3 pick in the NBA draft with Dylan Harper. He chipped in with 15 points off the bench last night in only 23 minutes. This team is dangerous, man. The San Antonio Spurs are going to be a dangerous team to deal with. The Mavericks, I'm not worried about them. I think they'll figure it out. They still have a lot of talent, and with the amount of talent they have, they're going to be good enough to beat 75, 80% of the teams in the league. Most teams aren't going to be able to just deal with Anthony Davis and Derek Lively down low, P.J. Washington, Cooper Flagg, who's playing at the point. Now, I don't mind this only because his head coach is Jason Kidd. That's the only reason I don't mind this, because Jason Kidd is a head coach. If it was not for that, I would say please get this guy off the ball, man. He's clearly not ready to be a point guard. He's never played point guard in his life. He's not going to automatically be a point guard and be good at it in the NBA. But I will say give him time, because we've seen Jason Kidd do this when he was the coach of the Bucks. Took the ball out of their guards' hands and gave it to a guy named Giannis, and the rest is history on what happened. Can Cooper Flagg be something like that? That's left to be determined. We'll see how he goes and how his trajectory is as he goes throughout his career. But as of right now, it's going to be a struggle for him to come out and play point guard, especially when you're not getting a lot of production from your teammates. Anthony Davis is not going to keep playing bad like that. He didn't play bad last night, but he was 7 for 22, had 22 points, and took 22 shots. So that's never just a great game. But he also had 13 rebounds to go in there, a couple steals, a couple blocks in there as well. Anthony Davis will be fine. I don't have any worries about him. What are they going to get out of Klay Thompson is a huge question mark for me. Klay Thompson can give him 2 to 3 threes a game. It needs to be at least 3. I mean, it's your only job at this point. They're not counting on him to be a defender. Your only real job is to shoot threes. Last night, 1 for 5 from the three-point line, 4 for 13 total. I'm wondering, how in the world do you have only 5 threes, but you took 13 shots? What shots were you taking? Klay Thompson shouldn't be doing anything but standing by the three-point line and shooting the ball. Shouldn't be doing anything else after that. He's not playing the greatest ball right now, but, we'll give him some time. He's near the end of his career. If he can just chip in with 10 to 15 points a game, they'll be in good shape. I think P.J. Washington will be good for him. They're going to try this big lineup. I don't know where they're going to get their shooting from, especially in that starting lineup if Klay Thompson is not hitting his shots. Still got Najee Marshall off the bench. Still got Max Christie off the bench. Those guys can shoot the ball well. D'Angelo Russell as well will be able to shoot the ball pretty well. They've got to find a way to get shooting. All in all, I'm not too worried about the Mavericks. I'm more worried about the Spurs as far as they're going to be an absolute problem for the rest of the NBA. Wemby put everybody on notice last night. He put the league on notice that, hey, I am not only – this is not a soon-to-be arrival. He's arrived fully for the San Antonio Spurs, and I can't wait to see how this guy blossoms and continues to blossom throughout this year. Because if he keeps playing like he did last night, I keep saying it, he plays like he did last night, man, the Spurs are going to be not only good, they're going to be unstoppable. Nobody can protect the rim like Wemby. Nobody's got the skill set of Wemby. The dude is 7'5". He hit a tween cross step back 3 over a 7-foot guy. Like that's why I said it's gonna look like AI to y'all if y'all watch this. It doesn't look real. It doesn't. It looks like somebody typed in. For those of y'all that play 2K, it looks like when the dudes make the super tall my players and come out to the park and try to play everybody. That's what it looks like. Are the guys that find the glitch and make their my player 8 feet tall? That's what this looks like. It's gonna be scary for everybody else in the NBA. I want to go over to Tuesday night as we had the debut game. Golden State Warriors beat the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Thunder, defending champs, beat my Houston Rockets in double OT as well. What I took away from the game was that the Rockets are a work in progress, but the pieces are there. The pieces are there. If they can slowly bring along Reed Shepherd, I have no problem. I have no worries about Reed Shepherd. I know a lot of people worry about can Reed Shepherd have the same type of output he had in college, or Can he do what he does in the G League or in the preseason? I think he can. I've seen enough of him cooking dudes in the G League. I've seen enough of him cooking guys in preseason. The dude can play. We're not going to need him to be a lead guard. We need him to come off the bench, provide some ball handling, and score the basketball. That's what I think he'll be able to do. He didn't play the greatest game. Still hit a couple of threes, though, in that game. Alperen Şengün. This dude is a star, man. Şengün is a star. His first time making an all-star team was last year. See, I didn't even know. I'm a Rockets fan. I didn't even know Şengün was like this. Not his game, but I seen him at the all-star game. Dude had an iced-out Patek. Dude had a Versace shirt on. I know they all got money. He had a couple chains, but I just didn't know it was like, you got the Europeans that are like, Franz Wagner, and then you got the Europeans that are like Alperen Şengün that look like he came out of Migos video. I didn't know he was like that. But Şengün is a dog, man. That's the best thing about his game is that he's a dog. He don't care about talking back and forth with dudes. He's not going to take no weak stuff from nobody. Thanks to Draymond Green for kind of putting him through boot camp with that last year in the playoffs. But this team is tough. Amen Thompson didn't have the greatest game, and really his only flaws was he kept shooting threes and he can't shoot. You know you can't shoot threes, bro. Let's stop. Let's stop. I know you worked on that all summer, but you don't need to shoot 7 of them. That's another great thing about Wemby's game last night. Most of the time, he's floated around the perimeter, taking more threes than he needed to. Last night, he only took 2 threes. That's what you call getting right to it. That's what he was able to do this weekend. That's what he was able to do this last game. But Amen Thompson, please stop shooting the threes. Şengün had a crazy night, 39 points, 11 boards, 7 assists to go along with it. The dude is playing out of his mind right now. Kevin Durant still trying to work his way into the offense. 23 points, 9 boards, didn't make a 3. We know that won't last. It's Kevin Durant we're talking about. We know that's not going to last. I like what I've seen out of Jabari Smith Jr. Steven Adams still looks like a man amongst boys out there. He's literally just throwing grown men around. And the bench with Torrey Eason, Clint Capella came in a little bit. I think the Rockets will be fine. Didn't have Dorian Finney-Smith playing last night. He was hurt. So we'll see how he works out and how he fares when he gets into the lineup. For Oklahoma City, I think Chet Holmgren has taken another step in his game, and that's just being aggressive. He's had the skill set. We know we've all seen the games where he's going against Wemby. We know he's got the skill set to be able to be a dominant player. It's just that aggression factor. Last night, or on Tuesday night, Chet Holmgren showed that he's not scared to shoot the ball. I think he was leading all scorers at halftime. His game is taking a step up. And then SGA, the MVP from last year, the finals MVP, NBA champion on ring night. Wasn't having the greatest game, but when it got into the fourth quarter, there was nothing anybody could do with him. We put Torrey Eason on him. Didn't work. We put Amen Thompson, who I think is one of the best defenders in the league. Did not work. Kevin Durant got some of that action. Everybody, Jabari Smith Jr., there was nothing they could do in the fourth quarter as far as him getting to his mid-range shots. His only misses in the fourth were him taking bailout threes that I think were bad shots. I was happy he took them because gave my team a chance. But that was the only shots he was missing. From that mid-range, it couldn't be any more automatic. The Thunder and SGA get a win. SGA has 35 points, 1 for 9 from 3, but still comes out the game with 35 points. Chet Holmgren chips in with 28 points and 7 rebounds as well before he fouled out of the game. The Thunder will be fine. They're still the favorite. I asked Rocky on Tuesday night before the game, if you had to pick the field or the Thunder, who are you taking? And obviously, he said the field. I would be the same way. I would take the field against the Thunder just because we haven't had a repeat champion in 8 years in the NBA. So I don't expect that to start. I don't expect that streak to stop this year, even though this is probably the best case for it because this team is super young. They kept, I think, 14 out of 15 guys on the roster. So the team is going to be just fine with OKC. Expect them to have another top record. Expect them to be the 1 seed in the league. Expect all those same things as well. I'm going to take a look at some of these other games that also happened that happened last night for the NBA tip-off. The New York Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs fall short to New York at home to Jalen Brunson and the Knicks at home, 119-111. As the Knicks were able to get a win, Jalen Brunson chipped in with 23 points. Karl Anthony Towns already playing through an injury, which isn't a good sign. Already playing through an injury, but still chipped in with 19 points. The best player out there last night was definitely OG Anunoby, though. OG Anunoby, 24 points, 14 boards, 3 steals as well, as he helped lead the New York Knicks to a victory. On Cleveland's side, Donovan Mitchell had 31 points, but he took 25 shots to get it. They're trying to adjust and figure out how they're going to play ball without Darius Garland right now. Darius Garland's injured. I'm interested to see Lonzo Ball get more comfortable. Had 6 assists, but only had 3 points, only made 1 shot, and that was a three-pointer. Only took threes in that game. As he begins to get more comfortable and probably gets inserted into the starting lineup, I expect this Cavs team to be okay. The New York Knicks are replacing their coach, man, Tom Thibodeau. I'm interested to see how that's going to go. It's a new offense with Mike Brown as the coach now, who I think Mike Brown is a good coach. Got fired from the Kings, but it's the Kings, man. You can only do so much. He got them dudes to the playoffs for the first time in I don't know how long, so he should get some credit for that. Now he's over at the Knicks. They're in the East, way, 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 way easier than playing basketball in the Western Conference, so that'll be a plus for him. And they got a fully loaded roster in New York. We'll see. This will be year 2 with the Karl Anthony Towns experiment. If they can stay healthy, we'll see how it goes. Last year, they were derailed by injuries and weren't able to finish as they got into the playoffs. But the East is wide open this year when you talk about injuries to Jason Tatum and the Celtics. The Eastern Conference representatives who play tonight against Oklahoma City and Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton is going to be out for the season. So the East looks wide open. Why not the Knicks? Why not the Cavs? Those are both 2 teams that are looking to get back to the finals, and they got a really, really good chance of being able to do that. Philly and Boston faced off last night as Philadelphia 76ers were able to get a win, 117-116. That was honestly a good sign for both teams to me. The Celtics, seeing how they rebounded and how they were going to play without Jason Tatum out there. All those guys, Kyrell, I'll send you the clip so you'll be able to watch this, that's been saying over all these years, man, Jaylen Brown's really the best player, especially once we saw him get the Finals MVP. It skyrocketed with those narratives. Jaylen Brown's really the best player. He's really a number 1 option. They want Tatum to get the ball. Well, we'll see. We've seen Tatum as a number 1 option, and what can he do? What can Jaylen Brown do as a number 1 option? Derek White continues to play really good basketball, man. 25 points last night. Jaylen Brown chipped in with 25 as well. Peyton Pritchard also had 16 points. Anthony Simons came off the bench with 13 points for the Boston Celtics. I have no worries about the Celtics. 1, they're playing in the East. 2, they have the very strange coach in Joe Mazzulla, who's a strange guy, but I do think he can coach. And they have a pretty decent roster now. They're losing guys like Al Horford as well. They'll have to try to plug and play with different guys there. I don't have any worries about the Celtics. The Sixers is where the big surprise was in this game. Tyrese Maxey, this is no surprise. We got one of his final high school games. If you go on the Centex Sports Network, it's on our YouTube. Look at our highest rated videos. That's one of them, if not the top one. We got to do an overtime game where Tyrese Maxey played against a local team here in the Midway Panthers. No surprises for Maxey. Comes out with a 40 ball to start the season off. A 40 ball. Step back threes. Still showing the speed out there as well. But the biggest surprise was VJ Edgecombe, the former Baylor product, who said in the offseason he felt like he was being held back at Baylor and the college game just wasn't for him. Some people got mad about that, said he's throwing shots. Oh, he's throwing shots to Scott Drew saying he can't coach. Well, some people's games just aren't for college. VJ is one of those dudes, clearly. He came into the summer league dominating. He had a good preseason, and now is the first rookie since the 60s, since Wilt Chamberlain in the 60s, to have a 30-plus point game in their first NBA debut game as a rookie. That's what VJ Edgecombe came out and did last night. Joel Embiid, only 20 minutes, 1 for 9, only 4 points in the game. I don't know what Embiid is going to look like this year, man. This dude has been hurt every year of his career, just about. Still no Paul George, Podcast P. We'll see if we see lighting of him. If those 2 guys can get healthy, and that's a very big if, especially after what we just witnessed last year. Talked about the East being wide open, man. Nobody's going to want to play these Sixers because in the time of them missing Paul George, and then missing the Embiid, and then missing the Maxey, they were able to build and develop other players. one guy that didn't even play last night, Jared McCain, was a potential Rookie of the Year candidate last year until he got hurt. He'll get thrown back into the fold. Quentin Grimes, who played really good for them last year, he's going to be a good player for them off the bench. Still got Andre Drummond off the bench. These guys are going to be loaded. They got Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon, and they didn't even play. So they got vets that can step in whenever guys are going to be hurt, because this is going to be a team where guys get hurt a lot. They've got veteran guys that can step in and that can come in and play the game. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this Sixers team if they can stay healthy. And I'm excited about VJ Edgecombe, man. This dude is a monster. We didn't get a chance to see that at Baylor, but the college game is a lot different than the pro game. Pro game is a lot more space. And as you can see, VJ Edgecombe is a guy who's a rhythm three-point shooter, but he likes to get to the cup. He will put you in the rim, as he tried to do to multiple guys last night, as he's going to continue to do the rest of the season. Sixers are going to be a good team, man. I can't wait to watch some more of VJ Edgecombe. Looking through a couple of more of these games that happened yesterday. Minnesota Timberwolves come out and get a win over the Portland Trail Blazers. We'll talk about their coach in just a second and that whole scenario that's going on over there. Timberwolves get a win. Anthony Edwards comes out like he's got a point to prove. 41 points in the opener. He looks like he's coming out and starting the season locked in. I like this Minnesota team. The West is just loaded, man. So many good teams. They get a win over Portland, a team I think that'll be improved with guys like Drew Holiday out there showing these guys how to actually play basketball, and they're definitely going to need it now that their head coach is going to go to jail, potentially. But we'll check in with that in just a second. But still like what I saw out of the T-Wolves last night. Played a pretty good game. Team that surprised me, the Toronto Raptors. It's a team you kind of forget about because Raptors are very forgettable. They've been very forgettable since they won their championship in 2019. That was 6 years ago. But they got some hoopers on their team. You stockpile so much talent in the NBA when you're bad that you kind of forget. Emmanuel Quickley is a good player. They got one of the best starting fives in the NBA. Definitely in the Eastern Conference. They have one of the best starting fives for sure. When you talk about Emmanuel Quickley, R.J. Barrett, who had 25 points. Brandon Ingram, who's trying to come back from injury and get his footing going. We know what he can do as far as scoring the basketball. Scotty Barnes, and then Jakob Poeltl down low. That's one of the best starting fives in the league. That is a very, very solid starting five. And then you got a lot of depth off the bench. Guys that can score the ball. Grady Dick, 21 points last night. 5 boards off of the bench. Jamal Sheed, a guy that I loved when he was at U of H. Thought that team should have won a national championship. Competed for a couple of them. He's coming off the bench, super tough guard. Abaji, third or fourth year man out of Kansas from a few years ago. They got a solid team. This Hawks team, we'll have to wait and see what they look like, man. Wait to see as the season goes on. Can Kristaps stay healthy? Can Jalen Johnson have the same type of season he had last year? Are some of the questions. But the Raptors were a surprise last night. Wasn't surprised by Orlando beating Miami. I don't know how Miami's going to be good this year. I know they got some veteran guys out there, but I don't even know what Miami's doing. They're kind of just in limbo at this point. Clippers lost to the Utah Jazz. Not surprising because the Clippers are old, man. This has got to be easily the oldest team in the NBA. When you talk about guys like Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Bradley Beal, Nick Batum, Brook Lopez, Chris Paul, I think it is actually the oldest roster ever assembled. So, yeah, they're going to be off to a slow start. It's not going to work right away for these guys. It'll be a slow start for them. But don't worry about the Clippers, man. When you got veterans like that, you'll be able to figure some things out. The Jazz, I think they start like this every time. They start out kind of hot. People get excited, and then it starts to dwindle away as they start to lose games. I love the amount of talent they've accumulated on this team, though. Keontae George, Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler, Cody Williams, Ace Bailey, who they just drafted, Walter Clayton, who's coming off a national championship run. Man, I mean, they've got a squad in Utah. They get a win, but expect those wins to dwindle off some. NBA is back in full effect tonight. We've got a couple of games that'll be on ESPN. I'm used to, like you guys, watching Thursday night games over on ESPN. But watching games on TNT. But now these games will be on ESPN. So I'm excited to see these couple games tonight. Rematch of the NBA Finals. Oklahoma City and the Pacers will match off again tonight. Lots of guys out for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Cason Wallace is going to be out. J-Dub's still out. Alex Caruso is going to be out in this game as well. And then we know all the guys on for the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton will be out. T.J. McCollum will be out as well. So they'll struggle to get through tonight's game. Definitely give me OKC in that one. OKC is 7.5-point favorite. I might take him on the points too as well. The night game, the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets getting ready to take on the Golden State Warriors. Golden State is 1-0 so far. Golden State is 1-0 so far as they got to win over the Los Angeles Lakers on Tuesday. But Denver starting their campaign. They lose Russell Westbrook, but they still got a lot of good guys out there. Mainly they got Nikola Jokic. The thing that threw me off, Christian Brown, or Braun, however you say his name, got a $120 million contract. I thought that was crazy, but I mean, hey, you want to keep your guys around, try to keep the same core that got you here. Not much of a big offseason for them, but I think they did get players they needed, like going back and getting Bruce Brown, who was huge for their championship, like getting a Tim Hardaway Jr., who can stretch the floor and can shoot the ball to try to replace guys like KCP that they missed the last couple of years, and Jonas Valanciunas, giving them a true center off the bench that can actually spell Nikola Jokic, because that was probably their biggest problem last year, the last couple of years, but last year especially. Had no real backup five, so they didn't really have any way to spell Jokic, thus him playing the most minutes he played in his entire career last year, and they don't get that far with him doing that. And then you add in a guy like Cam Johnson. I love some of the small additions that the Nuggets were able to make. But give me the Nuggets tonight, man. Golden State, they got to win over the Lakers. They're going to make me a believer. I'm not a believer in Golden State just yet. I think they'll be good. I think they're going to be a fringe playoff team somewhere in there. But give me the Nuggets in tonight's game for sure in this one against the Golden State Warriors. Golden State's favored by a point, so I'll definitely go pick those points up with Denver as I'll take them on the road in this game. Folks, we're going to take a very quick break here on Centex Primetime. When we come back, I'll give you guys one final preview for high school games tonight and tomorrow, NCAA games for this weekend, and the NFL as well. So stay tuned and stay locked in on Centex Primetime. We'll be right back after this short break.
We can't be the guys that gonna be timid and not knowing what's going on. You play hard, you play together. I mean, that's all we ask.
This is what we all have to do.
Be locked in, focus, just be disciplined, all right?
Now I feel like Kyrie, I'ma have to take the shot. If they tryna call me dog, I gotta hit the block. Started from the bottom, but we made it to the top. And I told them time is money, that's why I don't ever stop. I got my black hoodie with a rollie on, eating pasta like Corleone. I don't got time for no fake boy. If you got the money, gon' show me some. I got 2 whips and I'm self-paid. Never got help, bro, I'm self-made. Started from the bottom, but we made it to the top. And I told them time is money, that's why I don't ever stop. Hey, what up, say? Home up in the studio, so I'm locked in. My stock going way up, I got options. Yeah, they fine, but stop playing, you not him. Wait, the numbers going up.
You got 8 seconds to prove you're worth the price of admission. And you got Baylor Scott and White Health along for the ride. So square up. You got this.
RJ's Bargain Center is your home team for appliances at unbeatable prices. From refrigerators to washers, dryers to stoves, you'll find brand new appliances with huge discounts. And just like your favorite local teams, RJ's is proud to support our community and local sports. Score your savings today at RJ's Bargain Center, 711 Lynn Street, Waco. Call 254-224-6178. RJ's Bargain Center, where big savings are always a home run.
I've looked back at MCC with all these kids coming out here, these men and women starting their lives out here, starting their dreams and their visions of what they want to do for their family. It's the foundation for our community.
The plan is to go win.
Yes, sir.
Our girls set a goal that they wanted to win a national championship. They wanted to win a conference championship. That's been on the table from day one. And now we put ourselves in the position to do that.
Pitch hit in the air and deep to left field. Going back is Rayvon Morgan at the wall. He leaps and he makes the catch for the third out.
Too much to give in. If you think it's over, then let's start it again. The planet's alive, the stars burn bright, the sun goes down, we keep going all night. Don't back down, the moment is now. Don't miss out, we're never turning around. That is your
Going back, can't get to it. It'll go all the way to the wall. One run is scored. Now the third coming home to scores Aiden Cooney.
catch me if you can. We're renegades.
It's this one here in right field. It is treetop call and over the wall.
We're renegades. We're renegades. We're renegades. Listen up, listen up.
Hits the first pitch down the right field side. That's going to be it. Touching third and coming home is the winning run, Carson Croca. Give a RBI double to Blake Hansen. And the Highlanders walk it off and win by a score of 10-9.
We're renegades.
This is why you need Centex Primetime. Jalen Gillis brings the realness. Dive into the heart of sports with the most passionate commentary around. From pro to high school, Jalen's got the insight and energy you crave. Catch all the action weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network, only on YouTube. Join the conversation and elevate your sports knowledge with Centex Primetime. Don't miss it.
Need video or audio solutions? Lighthouse Streaming, a full-scale media agency, can transform any event. Check this out. We're talking live streaming that's crisp and clear. Event.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Prime Time on this Friday Eve, Thursday afternoon. Still lots going on in the world of sports. Thanks to everybody for tuning in with us here today on Centex Prime Time. Like I said, it's kind of shortened episode as we're just giving you guys some preview of what's going on. Just wrapped up talking about in the first part of the hour, NBA season in full effect. A couple of games coming on tonight as well, so make sure you guys are getting ready to tune into that as well. We got games on tonight in high school football. Everybody has, it'll be something a little bit different than what we're used to, but that is because the weather tomorrow is not going to permit for a lot of these games to happen. I didn't know anything about the weather. I didn't know until I seen the potential of games starting to get shut down, and that kind of had me worried. I'm like, well, what's going on? It must really be some real weather getting ready to hit us. But nonetheless, we'll get some games tonight. We'll get some games tomorrow. Teams have moved their schedules up. Teams are still trying to move their schedules around right now to accommodate for the weather that's going to happen on tomorrow. But we'll see how it goes. We can never know with the weather. All we can do is try to anticipate what's going to happen. And they think it's going to be pretty bad. So a lot of games have been moved up time-wise. Also, a lot of games have been switched over to tonight. So we're going to see one of the games I have for Game of the Week. We'll see that game tonight in Robinson versus La Vega. So I'll definitely be tuned in and ready to watch that if I don't get a chance to try to catch over there and catch some of that game with La Vega versus Robinson. But I'll give you guys the rundown on the list of games that we have. First off, Midway Panthers back on their pursuit to win a district title, 2-1 in district play, 6-1 overall. Midway's taking on a winless Killeen team, so you got to come out and get a win, man. These games are about staying focused, making sure you come out in the first half and put the game away in the first half. You let the game stick around close in a district game where you have to move time up. Everybody's schedule and everybody's routine is off, as the Midway game will be kicking off tomorrow at 5:30 in Killeen. So everybody's schedule is going to be off tomorrow as far as your preparation for the game, coaches, what they like to do for the game, their pregame rituals. All that's going to be thrown off tomorrow. I'm not sure if they were having a pep rally or not, but the pep rally, all that stuff will be affected. Midway's just got to come out and be locked in. They'll take care of business in this game. Midway is one of the best teams in Central Texas area. Definitely one of the best teams in District 12 and 6A Division 1. As they're battling with the Harker Heights, the only team that they lost to in district play. They're battling with the Temples, who are 1 and 2 in district play so far, that they got a leg up on. The Shoemakers that they got a leg up on. This Midway team is dominant offensively with guys like Lathan Wisington, with guys like Andrew Air McNair, with guys like Jacoby Hamilton and Tyler Seath on the outside. Dominant offense. Expect the same thing tomorrow. That game is at 5:30 at the great Leo Buckley Stadium. Temple and Bryan also staying right there in District 12 and 6A Division 1. Temple and Bryan will face off tomorrow. Temple taking on a winless Bryan team. There's 2 teams that are winless in that district. So one of them won't end winless, as they'll get a chance to play against each other. But so far, Killeen and Bryan winless. Expect Temple to come out, get a dominant win tomorrow. Lake Belton playing Cedar Park tomorrow at 7. Both that game in Bryan and Cedar Park at 7. Most of the rest of these games have got moved up. I guess maybe those are a little bit further and they're not expecting as bad as weather. But Temple taking on Bryan, Lake Belton taking on Cedar Park tomorrow. The game that we will be at starting at 5 o'clock, as we had to adjust our time now and move our pregame show up to a 5 o'clock because we have a 6 o'clock kickoff, University versus Waco High. Always a big-time matchup when these two teams are able to face off against each other. Now, Waco High right now, not off to a great start, not having a great season, haven't had a great, 5, 6, 7, 8 last seasons in a row. But there was a time where Waco High dominated this matchup. I think the majority of the time of this rivalry, Waco High has dominated this matchup. So, yeah, it's University's turn to pick up some wins and get back in the win column. I fully expect University to come out with the win tomorrow. Too much offense. Savoy, who's really had a great campaign the last couple of games, been playing some good football. Expect for him to keep playing good football. London Smith, Jeremiah Green out there on the outside, who's been playing great for them as well. Their defense has been ball hawking as well. They're steady guys like the Joaquin Martinez in the inside of that defense and playing that middle linebacker spot. Expect University to get a win tomorrow, but I'm not going to be shocked if the game is competitive, especially in that first half, because it's a rivalry. This is Waco High versus University. This is one of the biggest games we have in Waco, if not the biggest game that we get in Waco. But I expect the University Trojans, the U-Dogs, to come out with a win. Brian Rudder taking on Belton. I like Belton in that matchup. Belton's 3-4, kind of struggling so far this season, but they're 1-1 in district play. I expect Belton to come out and get a victory. Going down to 4A Division 2, District 12, as you guys know that watch the show, one of my favorite districts to cover. I think the premier district in 4A Division 2 and the best district in Central Texas for any classification. China Spring versus Gatesville. This is going to be a dogfight tomorrow at 6 o'clock when these guys face off against each other. This game is going to be a dogfight. China Spring is 2-5, and you'll look at that and say, oh, man, China Spring's on another down year. They're not good. Well, they come out first game of the year and they beat a Conley team that's very talented. Now, playing against a Gatesville team that's very talented as well, they're going to have their hands full. Gatesville on the other side got their one loss against La Vega, and you can't even be mad about that. They held their own against La Vega, but La Vega are the top dogs, and they look like the top dogs when you watch them play, man. That La Vega defense is nasty. They get after the football. They attack the quarterback back there, led by a true freshman in Edison King, who's already got, I think at least 4 D1 offers already. He's a freshman. This dude is 14 or 15 years old. He doesn't look like it when you see him. He's 6'2", 200-plus pounds. Doesn't look like it, but he is a freshman. I'm not sure if they'll check his birth certificate, but they probably already have. I'm sure opposing teams have already tried to do that. He's been a monster for them. So with Gatesville getting that one loss to La Vega, you can't fault him on that. They come back out the next week with an important game on the line, playing against a very explosive Lorena offense. And they dominate from start to finish. Gatesville is a real deal team. We were trying to figure out, was their 5-0 start fugazi or was it real? It was real. It was real. Is it good enough to beat the La Vegas? No, but I don't think most teams in 4A Division II can beat La Vegas. Why they were in the championship game last year. But Gatesville is going to be a very tough out as they get into the playoffs. They take on China Spring. I got Gatesville in this game. Fully expect Gatesville to come out and have a great game against them. Lorena versus Conley. The Conley Cadets, both teams looking for their first win in district play. This will be a good matchup. I know the records don't show up. Both teams coming in 2-5, 0-2 in district play. But these are two of the more high-powered offenses in the state, and especially in this greater Waco area. Talk about Conley with highest rated player by ESPN in Central Texas, well, in Waco, and that's Jamarian Vincent, who's coming off a 100-plus yard game, 2-touchdown game. Braden Ford in the backfield, who's coming off a 1,000-yard season last year, on his way to another 1,000-yard season this year. The newfound quarterback in Caden Kaufman, who's been playing great football. On the Lorena side, they've got the triplets. Jackson Blanchard at quarterback, Brody DeLeon at running back, Carson Miller at receiver. It's going to be a shootout, man. This is a game that will be a shootout. They're playing at Mac People Stadium in Lacey Lakeview. But give me Lorena. Give me Lorena in this game, man. I think their offense will help them bounce back playing against a Conley team that's just been inconsistent, to say the least. I'll take Lorena in that game against the Cadets tomorrow. My game of the week, they got moved to 40 minutes from now. Might have to see about going and catching that game. Got moved to 40 minutes from now. Robinson versus La Vega. Robinson coming in 2-0 in district play. La Vega coming in 2-0 in district play. Robinson a 6-1 record on the season. They have got their own version of the triplets. When you talk about Dylan Medlock, Ed Marino, who's just playing out of his mind, and then Bryce McCurdy, a guy whose name is starting to get a lot of traction in recruiting over the last few months. High-powered offense, marching down into Belmead, Texas in about 40 minutes to take on the scariest team in 4A Division II in this Waco area. That's the La Vega Pirates. La Vega is the cream of the crop. We saw them lose big to Stephenville. We saw them lose big to Salina. Those guys are both 4A Division I. In 4A Division II, they've been dominated. They dominated the West Orange Starks. They dominated the Gatesvilles. They dominated these teams that have played good football so far this year, just not against La Vega. I said at the beginning of the year, man, expect another championship type of run out of La Vega when they get into the playoffs. You bring back a Courtney Parr. Yeah, you lose Bryson Rowland, but you bring back Courtney Parr. You bring back Jabari Thornton. You add some newcomers into this offense that have been playing good football. Their defense is lights out. Defense has been on fire all year long, man. I love what I've seen out of this La Vega squad. Give me La Vega tonight in a game. I mean, this is going to be a great game. If y'all not able to make it out there to Lee Willie Williams Stadium out there in Belmead, Texas, try to find a way to watch that stream because that is going to be a great game tonight. But I'm sure Belmead has already slowed down with traffic with everybody trying to get to the game, especially with the last minute, not relocation, but the last minute rescheduling of the game and moving it up to today. I'm sure they're going to try to pack the stadium out. Hillsboro will play Fort Worth Benbrook today as some of those games got moved around. West and Grosbeck will be facing off tomorrow. Expect a really good game out of those guys. Whitney and Mahia. Give me Mahia. That is tonight as they move that game up. That game is tonight in Mahia. Give me Whitney in that one all the way. Fisher Watson, Jonte Johnson, Kobe Haynes. I keep talking about the triplets, but a few of these teams got them. That's their version of the triplets out there for the Whitney Wildcats. Definitely give me Whitney. They're 5-2, expecting to be 6-2 by the end of the night. Fairfield versus Dibble. Man, give me Fairfield against whoever they're getting ready to play. You can give me Fairfield. Cole Collins is a killer. He's out there playing, like a D1 prospect. That's what he looks like out there. He's playing amazing football. He's been doing it from start to finish. Rocky has almost an ongoing bet each week to see if they're going to score 60. And half the time, they hit 60. Very, very explosive offense led by Cole Collins. That Fairfield team is really, really good. Probably one of the best Fairfield teams I've seen in recent memory. Definitely give me the Fairfield Eagles in that game tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Powell Westwood taking on Teague. Powell Westwood is undefeated, so definitely expect a good game out of them tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Rockdale and Cameron Yo. The Yeomen will be playing at home tomorrow at 7:30 against Rockdale. Yeomen still looking for their first win of their first win in district of the season. Franklin got off to kind of a rocky, slow start. Well, they're up to 4-2. They're 2-0 in district play as well. They've taken on McGregor tomorrow at 7:30. Give me Franklin all the way in that game. Troy and Academy got moved to tonight. Troy will be playing against Academy at Academy tonight at 7:30. Give me Troy in that game. Both teams 1-1 in district play, but I'll take Troy and give them the slight edge in that game. Clifton taking on Toller. Clifton's been playing some good football. They moved that game up to 6 o'clock. Give me Clifton against Toller tomorrow. Hamilton and Bang should be a really, really good game as we get to the lower levels. That's 2A Division I. It should be a great game between those two teams, both undefeated in district play. Bosqueville's been playing good football, taking on Italy tomorrow at 5 o'clock. They moved that game up all the way to 5. Give me Bosqueville on the road in that game. Valley Mills versus Dawson was moved to tonight. Valley Mills a 5-3 start on the season. I'll take Valley Mills in that game. Rosebud Lot and Bruceville Eddy also moved to tonight at 6:30 or at 7:30. Bruceville Eddy got a chance to watch them play in person last week against Marlin. So definitely give me Rosebud Lot in that one. They're 6-1 on the season. Staying right there in District 13, 2A Division I, Crawford and Moody. Crawford looking like the top team in that district. They're 6-1, 2-0 in district play against Moody. That game tonight is 7:30. I'll take Crawford in that one. Marlin, who got their first win of the season right here on Centex Sports Network last week. As we had a great time going out there to cover Marlin, man. Thank you to all of the Marlin staff and all the guys that helped out and helped us be able to pull that broadcast off last week. Thank you guys for the hospitality, and the facilities look great. Facilities look great, man. You're not going to see a facility like that in 2A Division I, really almost anywhere else in Texas. By far, one of the best facilities, and we've been to a lot of places over these last 8 or 9 years doing Centex Sports Network. One of the best field houses I've been to, man. Shout out to the Marlin Bulldogs. If they can get the team rolling like they did last week to go along with those great facilities, man, I expect Marlin to have some good teams over the next few years. I know they lost a lot of players to surrounding areas this year, but I'll take Marlin in the game tonight versus Riesel. That game is at 7:30. The Chilton Pirates taking on Bremond, folks. This was another one of my game of the weeks, a game I've been talking about all year long because I knew it was going to be a collision course with these two teams meeting each other. This is for the district title pretty much. In 2A Division II, District 10, this is for the district title. Both teams undefeated. Neither one have lost a game. Chilton is almost not – they haven't gotten scored on for most of the season. Forget for the last game or maybe a couple of games. They haven't got scored on for most of the season. Their defense is the real deal. The offense is the real deal. Their running back, Taylor, had 200-plus yards last week. Marneco Thomas, we know what he can do. Man, this will be a really, really close game. Bremond has been the top-tier team in this district for a while. But give me the Chilton Pirates, man, even though they're playing at Bremond. And Bremond should be the favorite. I just like what I've seen out of this Chilton Pirates team. I think they have a chance to win state this year. That's how good I think this team is in 2A Division II. They have enough to potentially win state this year. Cannot get enough of watching this Chilton team play, man. Give me Chilton in a knockout, drag-out fight tomorrow at 7 o'clock in Bremond, Texas. Hubbard versus Frost. That game's tonight at 7 o'clock. Give me Frost in that one. Meridian versus Mart at 7 o'clock tomorrow. Mart starting to find their rhythm, man. Give me the Mart Panthers in that game tomorrow. Goldwaith and Wortham play at Wortham tomorrow at 7. I'll take Goldwaith in that game. And as we get down to the very lower levels, Blum and Covington will play tonight at 7:30. Golson and Abbott will play in Abbott tomorrow at 7:30. Penelope and undefeated Aquila play tomorrow in Aquila. Definitely give me Aquila in that game. They've been playing some good football. Jonesboro and Lametta play tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Copperell and Iredale play at 7 tomorrow. Tonight, Morgan and Bluffdale play at 7 o'clock tonight. Bynum and Trinidad will play tonight. Mount Calm and Oakwood play tomorrow at 7. Yvonne and Cransville Gap will play tomorrow at 7. Oglesby and Pretty play tonight at 7 o'clock. So lots and lots of good games. Like I said, folks, be checking Twitter, the school website, everything to stay up to date on these games. There were rumors that a lot of these games will be canceled, including that Waco High University game. A lot of them aren't being canceled. They've just been moved up. But stay tentative to that because we'll have to check to see what the weather does. If the weather decides to come early, there could be some cancellations tomorrow. We'll definitely be giving you as many updates as we can tomorrow on Centex Sports Network as well. Those are some of the high school games. Great week in high school football coming up. Let's go over to some college and some NFL real quick before we get out of here today, folks. Really great games on the docket coming up this weekend. And we'll start in college football. 11 o'clock, you get a good game early. Ole Miss versus Oklahoma. At Oklahoma, John Mateer has not looked the same since the injury. And it's okay to say that. He has not looked the same since the injury. Taking on his Ole Miss squad. I got to take Ole Miss. Oklahoma's a 4.5-point favorite. I'll take Ole Miss on the spread on this one at the 4.5. Give me the plus and the 4.5 points on the road for them against the Oklahoma Sooners team. Just because this offense hasn't looked the same, man, since the injury to John Mateer. He's back, and I know he's working his way back in and he's trying to get healthy, but just haven't been able to do so far. For that reason, give me Ole Miss. I know they lost last week, got their first loss of the season. Give me Ole Miss. Indiana against UCLA, I'll definitely take UCLA. I'll pick them on the money line if I have to pick them, but I probably won't be picking in this game because the spread is too far. It's minus 26 points. It's actually kind of crazy. These college football spreads get crazy, man. There's no way I'm taking that one. Give me Georgia Tech over Syracuse tomorrow in their game. I'll take USF over Memphis. That's going to be a really good game as well. Bama over South Carolina in their game tomorrow. Mizzou and Vandy. Another ranked matchup in the SEC for tomorrow, 2:30. They'll be playing in Nashville. Vandy, the Commodores, taking on the Missouri Tigers. Diego Pavia, I said this on Tuesday, he's a guy you don't bet against. If you're a guy that sports bets, and everybody should be scared of sports betting right now after we've seen what happened with Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier and all those dudes. Everybody should be scared of sports betting right now, even if it's legal for you. Just seeing what's happening to these dudes getting raided by the FBI and all type of crazy stuff. But if you're a person that does like the sports bet, Diego Pavia is a guy that scares you. He's a guy that I stay away from because he will ruin your entire parlay when you bet against him. Give me the Commodores in this game tomorrow, man. They're playing at home. They're playing at Vandy. Diego Pavia is a better quarterback, I think, than Pribula. For that reason, I'll take the Commodores. I'll take Vandy in this one. Never thought I'd be taking Vandy in these type of games. Never thought I'd see a top 10 ranked Vanderbilt team because for the majority of my life, they were absolute hot garbage. And it looks like they're trying to change that. BYU and Iowa State. Big 12 battle. Iowa State favored by 2.5 points. It's a game I won't be picking, but if I had to pick, I'd take BYU on the points in this one, man. You get 2.5 points on a top-ranked team that just took out their biggest rival last week in Utah, a Utah team that I think is better than Iowa State. So for that reason, I'll take BYU in this one, and I'll take them on the plus 2.5. If I was putting them in a parlay, I won't be doing that though, y'all. Those close games like that, I'll stay away from because they'll ruin your parlay like Tech did last week for me. Cincinnati is finally ranked now after a 4-0 in the Big 12, 6-1 start. Number 21 team in the nation taking on my Baylor Bears. And at this point, man, I have to take Cincy. I have to take Cincy, and it kills me as a Baylor fan. But as a bettor, you got to think with your head, not your heart. And as a bettor, I have one cardinal sin as a sports bettor. Do not bet on your team. You're going to be too emotional. You're not going to think clearly. And you're going to pick your team to win. Shocker. Not much of a shocker at all. But you're going to pick your team to win. That's why I stay away from it. But just picking this game straight up, I got to take Cincy, man, because this Baylor defense is just terrible. And when the defense does get stops, the offense seems to start stopping themselves. We're seeing Sawyer Robinson kind of turn the ball over more. Meanwhile, on the other side, Sorensby, 18-1 touchdown interception ratio. So he's playing great football. Can't pick against Cincy right now, and they're playing at home. I'd have to take Cincinnati, and that's me betting with my head and not my heart, even though it pains me to pick against my Baylor Bears. Texas Longhorns take on Mississippi State tomorrow. Longhorns a 7.5-point favorite. This is a trap game, man. This is a trap game to see if Texas is feeling themselves. They snuck out of Kentucky with a win last week in overtime. I won't be picking this game. I'd take the Longhorns, but there will be no shock by me whatsoever if Mississippi State comes out and beats this Texas team. The offense is just bad. It's just that simple, man. The offensive line is horrible. One of the worst offensive lines I've seen Texas have in years. Arch Manning is mid at best. At best, he's mid. I don't want to call him sorry because he's young. If he was a couple years old, I'd say he's just sorry. But right now, I'll give him mid. Offense just not looking the same. Not shocked at all if Mississippi State wins this game, but I'll take the Texas Longhorns to be able to come out with the victory in that game. A&M versus LSU. This is going to be a big-time game down there in Death Valley. If I had a free weekend, I would drive down there. Sister goes to LSU right now and actually is in the sports department out there as well. This is a game I would most definitely try to. If I had the time to drive down to Baton Rouge, I'd be on the first thing smoking down there to get to Death Valley in this game versus A&M. A top 3 ranked A&M team, only behind Indiana and Ohio State. They're undefeated. They've beaten proven teams. They've beat the Notre Dames. They've beaten the Floridas. They had a huge win last week in a kind of almost their version of a trap game, taking on Arkansas in Fayetteville. Still find a way to come out with the win. They're playing in Death Valley tomorrow. Me and Rocky talked about it on Tuesday, and he made a great point. Is A&M good enough to put that final nail in the coffin on LSU? Because that's what this will be. All your playoff hopes are gone in this game if you come out there and lose this game tomorrow. So for that reason, I'll take LSU. They're going to be playing desperate. Whatever their best game is, you're going to get it in this game. So for that reason, like I said, I'll take LSU to give A&M their first loss. A&M is favored by 2.5. Y'all know I'm not going to be picking this game. I don't like games that are even this close. It's way too much easy money out there for me to try to mess it up with a game like this. But I take LSU on a plus 2.5 in that game if I had to pick, because they're playing at home, because they're playing desperate, because they're playing to keep their season alive. They're playing on the national television. It's going to be the night game on ABC, so we know how that goes. But I'll take LSU to try to keep their season alive. Last one, Houston versus Arizona State. Arizona State gets a huge, huge big-time win over an undefeated Tech team last week. Man, you can't get rid of this Arizona State team. They hung around long enough to beat Baylor. They hung around long enough to beat for them to win last week. Can't get this team out of there. Arizona State finds a way to win games. I'm definitely picking them in this game because even though Houston has won games and they're 6-1, they have a great record. They're one of the top teams in the Big 12 record-wise. Still think it's Fugazi. Still don't expect them to be a real contender in this Big 12. So I'll take Sam Levitt and Arizona State in that game tomorrow, and I'll even take them on the 7.5 points. Those are the college games I'm excited to watch. Full weekend in college football coming up. Those are some of the games that I'm definitely excited to watch out there as well. Let's hit some NFL games really quickly before we get off of here today, folks. I want to thank everybody for staying in and watching with us here today. Let's go through the games. First off, the game tonight coming on in about 40 minutes. Minnesota Vikings play against the Los Angeles Chargers. That game is tonight at 7:15. I'll take the Chargers in this game. Minnesota, obviously, up and down season. Hurt quarterback after a couple of weeks with J.J. McCarthy, who also wasn't playing great. Carson Wentz comes in. You can only get so much out of Carson Wentz. Chargers only 3.5-point favorite. I'm taking the Chargers, and I'm taking that 3.5 points. They're playing at home tonight. Justin Herbert trying to get back in the win column, man. They've been kind of up and down so far this season. They're 4-3. They're 2-2 at home. They're at home tonight, expecting to get back in the win column against those Minnesota Vikings tonight. Chicago Bears and the Baltimore Ravens. It's an interesting game because we're just trying to see if Lamar Jackson's going to play. He's questionable right now. We'll see how that game turns out. If he comes back and plays, that'll be interesting. If not, expect the Bears to, beat the brakes off the Ravens because without Lamar Jackson and all the injuries they've had, they're actually terrible. A game that I wouldn't have thought before the season would have been interesting, but it's very interesting. Carolina Panthers versus the Buffalo Bills. This is an interesting game. Buffalo has dropped some games to some mid-teams. I think the Patriots are pretty good. We talked about the Patriots on here earlier in this weekend. We've talked about them earlier in the year on the show because I love the offseason additions they made. I think they had the best offseason in the shows. But the Bills lost to them. Then they backdoor and lose to a Falcons team. I don't know what to think about the Falcons. Yeah, I know Bijan Robinson went crazy, and he's one of the best running backs in the league, if not the best running back in the league this year. Those are questionable losses if you're a Bills fan or if you're a Bills believer. Them going into this Panthers game, Carolina's 3-0 at home. Carolina hasn't played anybody. I know that. They had a game where it came down to the last minute and beat the Cowboys, but we know what we think about the Cowboys defense. I'm taking Buffalo in this game. I'll take them on the money line just because I'm not sure yet. Buffalo started out 4-0 and has dropped 2 in a row. I think they'll beat the Panthers, but Buffalo's got to come out there and prove it to me and I guess prove it to themselves, man. They're trying to get back in the rhythm and trying to win. Got to see those MVP performances from Josh Allen since he stole an MVP from Lamar Jackson last year. I ain't going to get into that, but we'll see. My Texans taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Man, these dudes can't block me right now. Our line was bad with the 5 starters. Last week, or a couple of days ago, on Monday, playing against Seattle with 4 backup linemen, it looked like we played with 4 backup linemen. Texans are favored in this game. 49ers have battled all types of injuries. Y'all know I'm rooting for the Texans, but if I had to pick, I'm going to take the 49ers in this game, man. The offensive line is giving me nothing to look forward to as a Texans fan. Nothing. Nothing at all. New York Giants playing against the Philadelphia Eagles. This was a close game last time these two teams played against each other. New York Giants were actually able to pull out a victory on Thursday Night Football. They play again on Sunday, this time at home for the Philadelphia Eagles. Give me Philly by 1 million, man. I don't think it's gonna last whatsoever. I think Philly's gonna come back and get their revenge for that loss on a short week they had the other night. You're not gonna see much Cam, not gonna see much Jackson Dart. I think Philly's gonna shut these guys out and really have a great bounce back win against them. That game is on Sunday. Cleveland Browns and New England Patriots. That game's not interesting at all. Patriots, I expect them to win. I just want to see how long are they gonna keep this Dylan Gabriel thing going. Are they gonna keep calling him a supercomputer out there? He's thrown the ball 107 times now. He's got 3 touchdowns, and all those touchdowns are small, short yardage touchdowns. 64 for 107 in his starts. Hasn't played great football. Last week they won. That's because their defense played great and because Quinshon Judkins is a monster. That's why they won. Nothing to do with Dylan Gabriel. I just want to see how long that experiment is going to keep going on out there in Cleveland. We'll definitely be keeping an eye in on those guys. Your Dallas Cowboys playing against the Denver Broncos in this game. I said on Tuesday, man, I'm close to picking an upset in this one. I'm close to picking the Dallas Cowboys. This will be one I have to wait all the way. I need to check the injury report fully before picking a game like this. This is a pick'em type of game, but I'm very close to leaning and taking the Cowboys plus 3.5 in this game. The offense can't be stopped, and Bo Nix doesn't scare me whatsoever. Nothing about the Broncos offense scares me. For that reason, Dallas is going to be in the game. Dak Prescott playing some of the best football out of anybody in the NFL, if not the best football out of anybody in the NFL. So, yeah, I'm very close to taking the Cowboys in this one. I'll be waiting to see as we get closer to the week, like I said, checking that injury report to see how that one's going to go. Pittsburgh Steelers will be taking on the Green Bay Packers in a return revenge game for Aaron Rodgers going back to the Pack, even though they're playing in Pittsburgh. He says it's not much of a revenge game. You know we don't believe Aaron Rodgers on that. This is a revenge game for him. He takes everything personal. He's going to take this personal and try to show up and show out in this game. Green Bay is favored, and I'll take Green Bay in the game, even though they're playing at Pittsburgh. What I seen out of Michael Parsons last week, don't nobody want to block that, man. This dude is playing like he's on a mission. He's playing like he wants a Defensive Player of the Year trophy. That's how Michael Parsons is playing right now, in my opinion. He's salty about them trading for the Cowboys regardless of what he says. He's salty about that. He's playing like he's salty about that. He does that against this bum offensive line of the Steelers. Expect Michael Parsons to have another really good game as well. I'll take the Packers on the road in that game. They're minus 2.5. I'll even take them on the minus 2.5 points. The Monday night game, the Commanders versus Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know what to expect out of the Commanders, man. If Jaden Daniels is going to keep getting hurt, and I think he's out in this game, I don't know what to expect. I expect him to lose this one against the Chiefs regardless. I'm just talking about for the rest of the season. This might be a sophomore slump for him, and it's probably just because of injuries. Jaden Daniels can't stay healthy right now. No chance I'm picking I'm picking against Mahomes and a backup quarterback. Like, what are we talking about? So Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs by 1 million. They're favored 11.5 in this game. I'm tempted to even take the 11.5, even though that's a lot of points. I don't see how the Commanders are even going to put points up in this game on Monday Night Football playing against Mahomes, who's having his best season that he's had in the last few years. 14-2 touchdown interception ratio, 1,800 yards already on the season. Mahomes playing out of his mind. He's having an MVP-type season as the Chiefs starting to find their groove. They're playing at home, the 3-1 at home. Give me the Chiefs by 1 million in that game. Those are some of the games for this coming up weekend, folks. We want to thank everybody tuning in with us here on Centex Primetime. Kind of a shortened episode a little bit, but wanted to give you guys some preview for the football weekend and for the NBA season coming up. Like I said, tomorrow we will still be live despite the rumors that the game might be canceled. Waco High University will be happening. The game is just moved up to 6 o'clock, So pregame for us will be at 5 o'clock. Folks, we want to make sure you are tuning in for that on Friday Night Flex as we get a chance to bring you Waco High versus University, all the coverage over here on Centex Sports Network. Thank you guys that watched with us last week. Marlon had a lot of great comments and a lot of great reviews about our broadcast and our stream. Make sure you guys jump in, comment, leave a comment, like and share the stream for those people that can't make it. It's going to be bad weather all around Texas tomorrow. If you're somewhere in the storm and you can't make it, tune in to Centex Sports Network. We'll be able to bring you all the coverage. Saturday as well, volleyball. MCC Volleyball will be back in action. MCC got a victory last night over NCTC. They're back in action again on Saturday. Make sure you guys are tuning in to that to support this volleyball team. The crew will be down there filming for volleyball. Make sure you tune into that at 1 o'clock tomorrow, MCC Volleyball. So thanks again for everybody tuning in. You can see my ticker at the bottom ticker there at Jalen Gillis on all social media handles. Follow me on there. You can follow the show at Centex Primetime on Instagram and Centex Sports TV on Instagram as well. Hit that subscribe button if you're watching with us on YouTube. We'll see you guys tomorrow for some Friday Night Football, Waco High versus University. We'll see you then at 5 o'clock. Everybody have a great weekend.